සිප්සරින් සත්සරින් ඈනකසිරින් සියවසක් කල් සපුරමින් සුවහසක් හසුතුරමින් සිරි සිරි නද ලවමදිනු හද සවන සරණවා සොඳුරුතම සර
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nalandasara. It is 2:30 p.m., which means it is time for the Nalandasara Inside English program. So, your topic for today is brought to you by me, Dimitri Rodrigo,
Sitilavindu,
and the topic for today is going to be the history of gaming. So, we'll be covering quite a few eras of gaming, starting from the 1950s and ending in the early 2000s to late 2000s. So, what would you think is the first video game? So, they first began in the 1960s and the 50s. Computer scientists created very simple interactive games as experimental projects in academic settings. One of these earlier known examples is an experimental project called Space War with an exclamation mark, developed in 1962 by MIT students Martin Gratz, Steve Russell and Wayne Whitman. It ran on the PDP-1 computer, featuring two players controlling spaceships in gravity fields while firing torpedoes at each other. Space War! Quickly spread to other universities and research centers, becoming a pioneer of digital gaming culture. Now, the first arcade and commercial games. Molly, what do you think the first games were that were out for the public to play in arcades and such?
I'm not that sure, but only thing that I know is that there was some low quality games, but it's not that much fun like these games in the present.
True. So the early 1970s marked the start of the arcade gaming era. So when I mean by arcade gaming, for those who probably do know, the movies Wreck-It Ralph, both movies were based on the arcade era of gaming. So there were multiple very popular games that first started out in arcades. So those games would be, say, Pac-Man. But those were still quite recent compared to the first games that came out in the arcades. So the first commercial arcade video game was called Computer Space in 1971. 1971 was an incredibly long time ago, for your information, and it was developed by Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney. However, it unfortunately failed commercially due to complex controls that people at the time were simply not smart enough per se. It was way too ahead of its time. The controls, the gaming industry was starting to grow, but for this commercial first game, the controls were far too complex. And then, its intuitive gameplay and competitive element made it a simple table tennis inspired game. The arcade video game boom of the 1970s, and it gave it its foundation for the video game industry. Then it went from having to go to the local blockbuster, no, that was a film, sorry, the local arcade to play games. You can now simply bring them home with the invention of home consoles. So they emerged in 1972, just 1 year after the first arcade release game. The Magnavox Odyssey became the world's first home video game console. It was designed by Ralph Baer, B-A-E-R, often called the father of video games. It was connected to television and featured basic black and white graphics. Everything was black and white back then, wasn't it? And it was enhanced by colored plastic screen overlays. So, very good example of that be, if I have a watch here, if you just put a green polyethylene sheet over it, it would start to turn green. It's that, very simple, there's nothing much going on. Then, the evolution continued with the arrival of programmable consoles. Atari's video game computer system, or VCS, later known as the Atari 2600, launched in 1977. It used games for the same system. This innovation spurred the growth of third party game developers, leading to a rapid expansion of the gaming market and setting the stage for gaming's mainstream breakthrough in the following decade. Now, we're going to skip ahead a few eras and let's talk about the sixth generation consoles. Now, I'm going to hand over the show for Ritnina and Sitila to continue.
Thank you, Dimitri. Now, Chitra, let's talk about the PlayStation 2, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now I wonder when this the PlayStation 2 was released.
I think like 2000s, right? Need to
Yeah,
be.
yeah, it was a little bit long time ago, but then the it how I don't remember how did the was it a little bit was the sales was good.
Yeah, I think that's good because that's like 25 years ago. I think that's good.
Okay. Can you tell me how much was the how much units was sold worldwide?
Like 155 million. Like that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. And then let's talk about the how did the DVD player function? Like it transformed into a complete entertainment right?
Yeah, like that's not like a normal movie DVD player. Like the game is a DVD. Like that's like amazing.
Yeah, and the DVD players was still expensive that time.
Yeah,
and
like
now it's not that expensive, but now everyone can buy, like everyone. And let's talk about how the PS2 became legendary thanks to its massive library of games.
yeah, like more than 3,800 games. Like,
Yeah,
that's like huge.
there are so many games like Shadow of Colossus, Gran Turismo,
Yeah.
GTA San Andreas, and a lot of more. And let's talk about what are the favorite games?
Like Half-Life 2. I like don't remember lot of games. Like
Well, speaking of Half-Life 2, and the Half-Life 2 had a sequel, didn't it? Half-Life Alex, I believe, was it? And then along with that, the Half-Life franchise was created by Steam or Valve. And quite a favorite game of mine from Steam is none other than Portal 2. But that's we'll talk about those in the later stages of this program. But for now, we will take a small musical break because it's getting quite long. We'll be back in a few minutes. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nalandasara Insight. It's 10 to 3, so let's continue with the sixth generation consoles. Shall we, Rhythmina?
Yes. No. Where did we stop, right?
Like the popular games on PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
That's where we stopped.
Now let's talk about what are the fan favorite games in the PlayStation 2, right?
I don't remember, but I remember like Half-Life 2. Like I'm not a gameish guy, but those are like popular games in the play history.
Yeah, and there was I kind of have a remember of God of War and Metal Gear Solid 3 and what was the other one called?
God of War and the
It was the Tekken 5, I think.
Tekken 5. Yeah, that was the one.
Tekken 5, and there was it was in the PS1 games groundbreaking graphics. So it's was the groundbreaking graphics. So groundbreaking graphics help its era.
Yeah, neat like graphics is the main things from the game console.
Yeah, here's the thing. So when the PlayStation 1 came out, it was already at the time groundbreaking graphics. Yeah. So how do I get this? So imagine the Nokia 3310, the brick phone that we all know, right?
Yeah.
When it first came out, we thought that the graphics on that were top notch, ahead of its time, which it was for the time. Then came the smartphone, the Apple iPhone, and the graphics on that phone and the resolution, the quality, everything, even that was considered absolute top notch. Then came everything that we know today, and that's still considered top notch graphics.
Yeah.
So you can see where it's coming from, right? Because today, if we were to bring in a PlayStation 1 and plug it into this TV, well, we are not going to be very impressed with graphics. However, for the people at the time, it was incredible, wasn't it?
Yes, Dimitri, and the the PlayStation was created by the Sony's, right?
Yeah, Sony PlayStation.
And it was the top of the console market when it was in
when it released, like it's like top ranked.
Yeah, and it was so satisfying to when playing and so much enjoyable and so much fun and people really enjoyed, right?
Yeah, that is very true. And along with that, not only PlayStation, there were also a bunch of other consoles that came out. For example, Nintendo. No, Nintendo didn't come out until when?
2002, I think.
Yeah, so we're still stuck in the 70s. So we're gonna have to wait a lot more before we get to Nintendo. So, next, what is our next console that we're gonna talk about?
Xbox, I guess.
No, it's about the Xbox.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the Xbox right after this quick musical break, and along with that, we will be bringing in a new presenter. We'll be right back. 92.2 FM, Colombo, Nalandasara. to 3. Now, we have a new presenter. Would you mind introducing yourself? Yes, and Rithmina, where did we stop off in our discussion of consoles?
Yeah, we were going to talk about how did the Microsoft enters the gaming, right?
Oh, yeah. So, why don't you continue from there?
Okay. Okay, Gihan sir. Now let's talk about how the Microsoft enters gaming. Now the Microsoft released the Xbox, right? And the Xbox was released in 2001, right?
Yes.
And was it powerful?
Yes, it is powerful, making Microsoft bold entry to the gaming console market.
Yeah. No. What kind of what is the launch style of the Xbox, and how did it evolve quickly?
It's become a flagship franchise, setting new standards for first-person shooters on consoles and becoming a cultural icon in gaming, I think.
Okay. And when did the Microsoft really introduce the Xbox?
In 2002.
Okay. And what was the main function of the Xbox?
Well, the main function of the Xbox could be taken as to be gaming, wasn't it? I mean, did the Xbox have video playing capabilities from DVD?
Yeah, it was there was DVD, still DVD like PlayStation, but it was a little bit better.
Yeah, they have better processing and henceforth better quality. And while the Xbox could be used as a simple home video player, the main point of it was to, play games, play Halo, whatever those games were actually. So, what were the games that were mostly released by Microsoft exclusively for Xbox?
Yeah, there were the Fable and the Forza Motorsport, and there was there was Star Wars, and it was a very popular game by, and there was a movie right now, right?
Yes, the Star Wars franchise is going quite well as far as I know, but I think the more popular game out of all three that we mentioned there is probably Forza Motorsports. So, what do you think about Forza Motorsports, considering it's one of the most popular games of all time?
Yeah, I think it was a racing game, but I never played it because I had never chance to play it. And it was a racing game, and I think it had better graphics, and it was very enjoyable, and the controls are a little bit hard to me from me, and it was very fun because everyone likes racing games, right?
Right. And yes, Forza Motorsports was a little bit harder to play because they had controls that were actually, quite real. Instead of just W, A, and D, we had actually, I don't think steering was not steering as in general. I mean, the steering console wasn't invented until later, wasn't it?
Yes, and I think they released online multiplayer, right?
Yeah, they did a while ago. And Forza Motorsports, the graphics on it is quite up there, isn't it? Because the other day I saw a video and I actually didn't realize there was simply a video of a car inside of Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah.
That's how great graphics have become. But we'll talk about that with our next presenters. So in the meantime, what else is there to say about the console gaming development?
Yeah, and after they released some games, they added the online multiplayer games like Halo, and they were going great because we can connect with globally and play with other people in.
Yes, indeed, you can. So multiplayer gaming has become quite, and I mean quite popular, because with the introduction of Steam by Valve and other distribution platforms such as Epic Games forgot the platform name, but Epic Games has a distribution platform, so does Valve, and of course GOG Games. Now, we'll talk about more than just the history of gaming. with our next set of presenters. So, in the meantime, while we do that change, here is a short musical break. You're listening to Nalandasara 92.2 FM. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nalandasara Inside. It is 3:05 p.m. 92.2 FM in Colombo. So we have two new well, not new exactly, but two late presenters. So why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Mehmet Rodrigo.
And I'm Shakir Amsuru.
So we were talking about the distributions of games. So I'm not a very good expert on that matter, so I'm going to hand over the show to Shakir and Mehmet to discuss that topic.
Okay.
Thank you, Dimitri. So, distribution of games. These days it's a very interesting topic, but not as interesting as the rest, so let's speed over this. So, as the modern age of gaming started, physical games started to take the back shelves a bit, and people started moving on to online games, I believe. Downloadable games, I believe they're called.
Yes, video games.
Yeah. So basically what they are is like a soft copy of a game. It's not a physical thing you can touch, not a disc, not an SD card, but it's a game stored in an online server which you can buy or download for free, and it's locally saved to your device, your console or laptop. And there are several platforms that have started distributing games this way, and the main one, I'm sure our listeners know as well, is Steam.
Indeed, Steam is released by Valve, one of my favorite companies on it, but we'll talk about that on another day. So, while Steam is a distribution platform, there are some games that Steam themselves has released, haven't they?
Yes, like Dimitri said, Steam is made by the company Valve, and Valve is known for many high quality games. Like whatever Valve releases, you know it's going to be absolute hit.
Yeah, so the more common hits of Valve were going to be Half-Life Alyx, Half-Life 2, and Half-Life 1. Now, those three are a bit back-shelved, I guess. They're not as widely talked about as the others that we have. Those two, there are two games in particular that I'm going to talk about. Those games are going to be Portal 2 and Team Fortress 2. Portal 2 is actually one of the few games on Steam that I know has a 10 out of 10 rating, isn't it, Shakir?
Yes, Portal 2, even to this day, Portal 2 is one of the most played games in the world, which is just crazy because it's not some complicated game with multiplayer or anything like that. There aren't infinite possibilities.
I beg your pardon.
In Portal 1 at least, right? But still people keep on playing it because it's
addictive.
Yeah, its gameplay is just very interesting, and this is something that was explored back in the day, right? Maybe.
Yes, I agree. Which goes on to the topic now. This digital gaming, like this is also we see this in Steam as well.
Yeah.
But then again, in PlayStation, you have seen now with the release of the PlayStation 5, they have the disc version as well as the digital version. Because
yes.
it renders to people, it serves to people like who wants to keep their copies digitally. But then again, there's a community which likes to keep it physical copy and keep it going on for the PlayStation 6 and furthermore.
Indeed. So I have a question for you, Mevit. So what is the difference between a disc version of the PS5 and the normal software version? I mean, what are the pros and cons that you get other than the fact that some people want to keep physical copies of the games?
Yeah, as a resident PlayStation 5 owner, I believe you have first-hand experience on this.
Well, I'd say, since having a physical copy is something that most OG gamers like, most people tend to go for that. But I agree with you that the optimal choice would be digital, buying it digitally, since the storage is all in the platform, is all in the console, and you don't have to hold it. You don't bear the risk of it damaging. You don't bear the risk of it breaking or any cause that could make you lose the game. That's what I'd say is the only con in using a disc. But then again, when you have a digital game, you can use it free. You don't have a disc to always put it in. You can use it as you start the PlayStation and go straight to it. But then again, it has a lot of storage space. It takes up a lot of storage, rather than the physical disc, which is, I'd say like 50% of it is in the disc.
Yeah, and the PS5 by default has how much? 1 terabyte of storage, is it?
Yes, 1 terabyte of storage, but minus 200 GB because of the system.
Of the operating system.
And one more thing I'd like to add is that I think digital versions of games make them more accessible, because places in like Sri Lanka, for example, most manufacturers don't consider Sri Lanka as a first priority market for stuff like video games. It's just how it is. It's
because
very sad.
of the lack of a market, another industry has boomed.
Yes,
we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
A slight problem, but when you have a digital version of a game, you can just upload it to a server like Steam per se, and then anyone can download it from anywhere in the world, regardless of your country and nation.
Yes, and according to a map I saw recently, there's one singular person in North Korea playing. I can't remember the game, but there's one person online in Steam.
Just one.
Fortnite.
Just one.
Probably Fortnite, yeah.
Yeah, Fortnite. Yes.
That is not the game I expected Kim Jong-un to be
But
on.
then again, Fortnite is a pretty popular game, don't you say? It's like it's been going on for years, and there's a big community there. Yeah.
Yeah, there is. Let's not go there, maybe.
Yeah, let's please not go there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another thing that these digital platforms have brought to the gaming community is that indie games are much more accessible now, because indie developers, aren't like AAA developers. They don't have all the resources that to make a physical game and to distribute them all around the world. So I believe the biggest indie game platform right now is itch.io, and that platform has made it very accessible and very easy to just make an indie game and upload it, which is very convenient and has helped to uplift the indie game community a lot, I feel like.
Indeed. And not speaking of indie games are a massive factor in the pie chart that is the gaming industry. Now, along with indie games, while yes, indie games are good, we will have to talk about actual AAA games as well. Because again, even though indie games make up a large fraction of the gaming, not large, quite
It's
significant.
pretty big. Actually, so what's ironic is that most AAA games these days as well, Minecraft for example, started off as an indie game.
Yes,
Even Five Nights at Freddy's, which I believe most people will know by now,
it's
started off as an indie project
That's
by
a-
one guy in a basement, and now it gave birth to a whole studio and a film, which is just crazy. Same thing with Minecraft. We all know about Minecraft.
Don't talk about the Minecraft movie, but let's forget about film and let's talk about the actual game itself. Minecraft is the best-selling game of all time, is it not?
Yes. After Tetris, I believe.
Yeah, true.
Is
After
it after
Tetris,
Tetris? Anyway, it's with Tetris. We'll talk about Tetris next. That's a.
I mean,
different
Tetris
topic.
has been everywhere, don't you think, Dimitri?
Yeah, starting from my definitely home country, Russia.
Yeah.
And well, along with Tetris, there's Minecraft. So Minecraft was started in Sweden by a
Sweden,
guy
yeah.
called Person Notch.
Yes, Notch.
Notch.
Again, a single guy just making a video game.
Yeah, and then he sold it to Microsoft for $1 billion. Was it not?
Yes, a lot of money basically, because the whole the theory behind it was that Notch didn't expect Minecraft to be as big as it was, and
Yeah.
he couldn't handle it, so he ended up selling it that and merging studios to Microsoft, and actually ended up regretting it afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, for the first few years, Microsoft was absolutely pumping Mojang with brilliant updates. So Minecraft is based on a system where you can play any version of the game, right? And they kept on pumping out newer and newer updates, more features, more everything. And
Yeah, it just shows how the community loves the game as well.
yeah, and the update cycle for Minecraft was, how does it go? It has big gap in between,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, basically annual major updates. Minecraft would just basically release one huge update that would completely revolutionize the game, or allegedly revolutionize the game, and then they just go radio silent for a few months.
Yeah, and well, it's not allegedly, because I think the update from 1.13 to 1.14 was massive per se.
I believe the biggest one was 1.16 and then 1.20. But basically, what we want to say is that Microsoft did a huge service to Minecraft and made the
us.
game so much better than it was. Yes, and us. But in the recent years,
Microsoft has been falling behind
yes,
quite a lot.
more and more concerns are basically starting with the gaming community and the AAA gaming community, which is what we should talk about next, I feel like.
Yeah,
So there's these huge companies, right? So AAA games are basically made by AAA game developers.
what does AAA
And-
mean actually?
No,
No clue.
no idea. But that's not relevant.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Basically, the whole thing with AAA games is that people who make them have a bunch of money and a bunch of resources, so the games are really, really good.
So you could say they
Whoa,
receive a
whoa,
good
whoa,
funding.
It's
right?
not games are really
They're
good. It's that
supposed to be really,
they
really
have
good.
incredibly high
budget.
expectation.
Yeah.
And the main example for one of the biggest AAA games is GTA 5.
Hmm.
And basically, while not all AAA games can live up to GTA 5, most people, that's the standard that most people expect with AAA games. And that is the standard that used to exist back then, but now AAA games are actually falling behind in the whole field of living up to expectations.
Yeah, while AAA games are falling behind, there are some. Are there any new good gems that are out there in AAA?
No,
Not
again
I'd
in the
say
recent
not
years,
compared to GTA 5, I guess.
I
Or
believe in the
6.
recent years,
Yeah.
Black Myth Wukong was the
That
biggest
was the only
AAA
one that
game that
came
was a
close.
massive hit.
To be honest, Black Myth Wukong. Oh God, someone's gonna kill me for this. But Black Myth.
Black Myth Wukong,
Yeah,
go
that
on.
game. I think the reason why it's so big is probably because of its massive graphics update. Was it not?
True.
Yes. Again, AAA game, so amazing graphics, and it was one of the first AAA games that was ever developed from China, and it was a massive hit. It just blew the market.
It
away.
had a massive hit, isn't it? It took up
Yeah.
a lot of the gaming community, and
Yeah, but again, that was probably because the graphics were the main selling
yeah,
part
the
of
graphics
game.
was the main thing that was attractive to the eye, no?
That is my problem here because everyone is just focusing on graphics. Is
But
it not?
don't you think it's an important aspect?
It's an
in
important
game?
factor.
Yeah.
Yes, there are 5 main factors,
Yeah.
and graphics is quite an important factor.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: AAA companies are focusing way too much on the graphics sector.
Yes, true. Actually, the whole graphics situation is what has brought AAA games down. Because, yes, while you need graphics in a game, preferably, I think I'd like to play the game
Yeah,
more
actually-
than I'd like to view the graphics.
True,
you know?
I
Actually,
guess so.
that opens another problem because having incredibly high graphics actually limits the accessibility of the game to other people because.
Yes, it
I'll tell
lowers
you
the
what-
people how many people can get into it, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
I'll tell you what my gaming setup is.
Uh-huh.
It's a Acer computer. and it
I
has
see. So there will
8
be a problem
gigabytes
there.
of RAM. 8 gigabytes. It has an i5 11th gen, no graphics card, just Intel UHD graphics. Do you expect me to play Black Myth Wukong or even Grand Theft Auto 5 with those specs?
Yeah, exactly. And again, we're back to the whole Sri Lanka thing. In countries
Yeah,
like
that's
this,
true.
Not just Sri Lanka.
graphics with like games
Just
with big
all
graphics.
developing countries, you'd say.
Yeah, so I just noticed we talked for far too long. So
Yeah.
we'll continue talking about this graphics problem right after this quick musical break.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to Nalandasara Inside Program 92.2 FM. Now, Sitira, where did we stop?
We PC gaming history, right? We
Yeah.
stopped, yeah.
Yeah. Now let's talk about how the PC gaming, how is PC gaming still going strongly?
Like it's like very good right now. Like
Yeah. Now, when did the PC gaming dominate first? When did the PC gaming start at first?
like from 19s.
No, I think
or 2000s, like 2000s.
Yeah, I think it was 2000s because in the 90s was PlayStations,
No,
right?
like 19 are so
Yeah.
old.
Yeah, and PC gaming was so different. It was the rise of the digital distribution, and the thriving modding culture was thriving modding culture was Valve, Steam, and other platforms like Epic Games and
Yeah, Epic Games, Mojang Studios, like there are lots of
and
studios fighting each other.
yeah, and in 2003 they initially served a way to distribute games, like distribute games and updates and how to install, and but they quickly evolved into a leading hub, right?
Yeah.
And they invented us to a new way to install and update and how to how to manage the PC games, right? Let's know, was that the update was good? That
No, like update need to be great.
yeah,
Greater than the
I
normal
mean,
one.
was that good? The system was good?
Yeah, that's like great.
Yeah, and they were, and it was the players really liked that way too, because they can do the install and update and manage the
update, like-
games, right, in the same way. And they in like when and
Like 2003.
yeah,
Yeah. Right.
Around same time, in the 2004 Blizzard released world's Warcraft, and it was redefined at the MMO. But the problem is I don't know what is the MMO, right?
Yeah.
It
I
I think it was something like multiplayer or something.
Yeah,
right?
like multiplayer gaming is
Yeah.
popular things.
Yeah, it was I think multiplayer massively online or something.
Multiplayer massively on that.
Yeah.
Correct.
And it was attracting. It was attracted millions of players, and it was so good. Like in the Xbox, it was there was the same feature, but in the now it's so much better. Now we can check
Like you can like plug in controllers to the console and like
yeah, it was much more better than the Xbox and the PlayStation, because at that time we can chat or do anything in the
like-
in-game, right? Yeah. And it was it's lots
like
more
fun.
yeah, it's a lot more better than other consoles, like I think.
PlayStation, Xbox, like
Yeah, and it was like it was so fun. In the mean, it was like its popularity rise up when they released that online multiplayer setting, multiplayer thing. Right.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was so and players stop like getting PlayStation and Xbox and start to play on PCs.
Yeah.
There were so many online communities for gaming. Like there were so many, but I don't remember all those because it was a long time ago.
Like
Yeah.
more than like 50, 60, 70 years. So like we don't remember that time.
Yeah, and I can't have remember. I think those communities are the communities that made the game, right?
Yeah.
And they joined the community, and players joined the community for updates and other stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And the controllers are much more better than the Xbox and PlayStation, right? we have to just move the mouse and
moving the mouse is like so hard. Like you need like click here everywhere.
And in the control, it was much better.
In the controller, like you have like buttons. And
we have to just joystick. You have to move right, left, and north.
And like the keys are like so hard. Like D to forward, left. Like you need to like so like find those things.
Yeah. And they expand the digital for gaming for storefronts, right?
Yeah.
And when they released when they released the what do you call it? When they released the PC gamings, they started to release esports and indie games, and that got attracted a lot of many players.
Like sports games in online, that's like crazy.
Yeah, that was more much great. That was much better.
Like you don't need like sweat after all.
Yeah, and there was so much things, and there was tiles in the there was tiles. Well, let's talk about what are the esports in the PC gaming, right?
Yeah.
There was okay. Let's talk about what are the esports. Okay, there was FIFA and lot of more.
Yeah, like football, cricket, table tennis, lots of sports, and like turning them into like video games.
No, let's go to the other presenters are back now. Let's go to a quick musical break, and we'll be back.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nalandasara Inside. So it's 3:33 p.m. We are running out of time. So Shakir, give us your God-willed topic.
So before we left off, we were talking about graphics and how graphics are being more prioritized than the actual gameplay these days. And basically, it's one of the main concerns with AAA games, that the graphics are too high and the gameplay is just, well, not up to standards. But that's enough talking about those stuff. Let's talk about
enough, don't you think? Yeah.
Let's talk about the upcoming trend in the gaming field, cloud gaming, shall we? So, these days, cloud gaming. What cloud gaming basically is. So how do you remember how we talked about those games being performance heavy and how computers just can't handle it and it's
Yeah.
just all just a bunch of mess. Basically, cloud gaming gets rid of that problem. Cloud gaming allows you to play any game you want, but it's not locally saved on your computer. It's in a server.
So that means you require a very
Large
good
server.
very good internet connection.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes, very good internet connection. It's not a flawless concept, but people are
Do you
believing that it will be the next revolutionary thing in gaming.
Shakir?
Actually, I have a question for you, Shakir. But
Yes.
since this requires a high internet connection, do you think like developing countries like Sri Lanka will able to go on with this? Will this be popular in our
Just for
district?
like a act of scale, it takes me like quite a long time to download 1
Yeah, the
gigabyte.
speeds are pretty low, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sadly, all I can say is that we can only hope. But maybe, you know, as time goes, it'll be all more optimized and we'll find a way to make it work. Because if you asked anyone from 10 years ago what GTA 6 would look like, they would have
True,
never
true.
guessed it would look the way it's supposed to look.
Or, you know, it would have even existed.
Hmm.
So,
Go on.
and with that, now we're running out of time. So let's quickly finish off the program. If we talk about gaming in the current years, basically it's being dominated by console games mainly because the PS5 and Xbox Series and the Steam Decks, all the handhelds and stuff are completely
All
revolutionizing the
yeah,
field.
all remarkable.
Yes, their games are basically the highest of qualities, and the gameplay is fun. The graphics are good, and basically they don't seem to be going away anytime soon.
Not anytime
Not
soon.
anytime soon. Yeah.
And I think all three of us and a lot of gamers all around the world can say gaming has an incredibly bright future ahead of it.
Yes, coming up and in this emerging new era, I'd say too.
Yes, yeah, not only console gaming, PC gaming still is making waves like it always had.
What I mean, still, it's the biggest
yeah.
type.
Although arcades have disappeared over the ages, arcades are still fun as well, but that's for the retro lovers mainly. But of course, PC games and console games are not going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
And the VR and AR scene making a scene, the VR and AR games are starting to make waves as well.
There
But
are
of course-
specific AR and VR games that
Yeah.
we're not going to talk about.
But of course, only time will tell us how that field will.
Yeah, the evolution of
point.
gaming has a bright future ahead, I'd say, no?
I mean, with the coming of the Apple Vision Pro and stuff like that, we can
Yeah.
tell that with the VR and AR technology that's coming up ahead.
You never know what kind
Yeah.
of games will come into
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
market.
So, ladies and gentlemen, today was an incredibly long day for this
I'd
program.
agree.
We have run out of time. We're actually going overtime. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening in to the Nalandasara Inside program. I'm Dimitri Rodrigo.
I'm Shakra Masuru.
I'm with Rodrigo.
And thank you for listening in to Nalandasara Inside 92.2 FM, Colombo.